they don't want to fan the flames.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to make it any worse than it already is.
Is it true that Harry maybe wanted to cancel Spare after the Jubilee? And do you feel like he regrets this at all? I mean, he went on a full court media blitz after all this. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like he has a lot of remorse, but do you feel like he has any regrets considering the reaction that he's gotten?
Well, I mean, it was me who wrote the story that he
Right.
was considering writing, cancelling Spare, and I would stand by that story. My sources stand by that. So, I think maybe it was a temporary thing he was going through, a moment of doubt, and of course the media blitz. That's in your contract, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you write the book, you have to do the media blitz. There was a very interesting story in another newspaper in Britain the other day, in the Daily Telegraph, suggesting that Meghan was, perhaps sort of slightly distancing herself from some of the things in Harry's books, and just slightly, expressing reservations, but let him get on with it. I don't know where that story came from, but I suspect that somehow or other, it's sort of Meghan inspired, and I would like to know what's going on behind the scenes. I think it's a very interesting dynamic.
Definitely. I mean, do you feel like Harry may be shocked that the royals never released a statement about the book claims? And do you maybe feel like he could be angry that he didn't get a reaction from them?
That's a very interesting question. I haven't heard it put like that. Good thought. He was, as he said in various interviews, he wants an apology from them, and I don't think any apologies forthcoming at the moment, partly because they don't really see what they have to apologise for. He's made all these accusations about leakings and briefings and so on without ever coming up with particulars or with evidence. So what's noticeable that they didn't react. They've stayed absolutely quiet,
Right.
which is quite interesting because they don't want to fan the flames.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to make it any worse than it already is.
Mm-hmm. Do you foresee any maybe temporary reconciliation before the coronation?
Oh, well, I'd love to see it. I mean, it always makes good copy for journalists like myself. But I don't like to see a family tear itself apart. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to see how reconciliation happens because surely in order to do that you have to have sort of private conversations, delicate conversations, sometimes painful conversations, and they really have to be done in private. And the royal family feels it can't really trust Harry to keep things private. He's put so much into the public domain, so it's kind of hard to see how you have the conversations that are necessary in order to mend the rift.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.